Hello friends, welcome to another video. My name is Kelsey Ann if you're new here, and I create motherhood and homemaking videos on this channel primarily. Today is not a video that I had actually planned to film. However, this is something that I've been thinking about recently, and I just wanted to sit down with you all and chat about it. I wanted to talk about basically material possessions and just what they mean to me, what they mean to people in general, and what they should mean as a Christian. If you didn't already know, I'm a born-again believer. My goal in life is to honor God and glorify Him in everything I say and do. And that applies to every aspect of my life. So obviously this includes how I look at my possessions and the things that I own in this world. For a while now, I've been working on becoming more minimalistic in the amount of items that I own. And on that journey of becoming a minimalist, it's really helped me to reframe my idea of the value of stuff, the value of possessions. There's several reasons that I hold on to different items. I've never been someone who holds on to a lot. I've always been pretty good about getting rid of things if I feel like they're not needed or not using them anymore. But there are a couple areas that I have struggled with, and I was just going to share that with you all. The first area that I struggled with was holding on to possessions because I didn't want to have to spend money on something in the future. So especially even before I got married, or when I was in a relationship especially, I would just hold on to a lot because I didn't know if I would need it in the future. And my mindset was, and even my sort of something I would say a lot was that if I have space to store it, then I'll store it. And then once I run out of the space, that means it's time to get rid of it. And that works pretty well for the most part, but I've kind of been reframing that a little bit as I have become a mother and have just, like I said, been looking at stuff differently than I used to and their value in my life. Holding on to items really played into and supported the frugal side of me, where I was just thinking, okay, I held on to a lot of old kitchen stuff that maybe my mom would get rid of or that would be passed on to me. And I knew, especially starting out when we first got married, we were newlyweds, we wouldn't have a lot of money to work with. So obviously that only encouraged my desire to just hold on to things and just have something just in case I need it. So even if I had duplicates, what if one of them broke? I would just hold on to multiples. Like, I didn't have a problem doing that as long as I had the space. I'm just recognizing how much value is placed on those items because of their worth to me in light of being more frugal. It's not worth it. I have the space to store a lot more than I do now, but I just have been able to get rid of so much because I've been able to recognize what little importance they have. Something that I've asked myself a lot of times, it's helped me really get rid of an item, is what's the worst that can happen if I do run out of this item, if this spatula breaks and I don't have this other backup that I was hoping for, what is the worst that can happen? You buy another $2, $3 spatula. Not a big deal. Oh, do you want to play in your room? Yeah. You may play in your room. You'll have to close the door, okay? Something else that I've asked myself is, when I'm considering holding on to an item or not, is what is the item really worth to me? Is it worth holding on to just in case? Is it worth holding on to and storing in my home and creating more to worry about, really? And that's the thing with stuff, is it just creates more stress and more that you have to keep track of.
Hi.
Hi.
What do you mean?
I'm recording a video. What are you doing?
Fun.
All right, be quiet about this sleeping. All right, go sit on the couch, okay? Good job, buddy. So the second area that was a struggle for me, and honestly still is a struggle for me, that I'm trying to work through and get better at, is sentimental items. I tend to be sentimental about certain items, especially items that I can hold, like letters, and what are some other examples? Physical items, like Okay, here's an example. For the longest time when I was a kid, I kept the collars or the dog tags and stuff from the pets that I had owned. I still own most of the letters that I've ever received corresponding with pen pals back in the day. It's hard for me to let go of those items. And okay, here's an example of something that has really, you're probably gonna laugh at me for this, but I recently, only like literally a few weeks ago, got rid of all my calendars and date timers, like my old calendars and date timers that I've had, I don't know, over the past 5-6 years or so. And that was hard. That was a big step for me that I got rid of those. I really love looking at dates and seeing how they correspond with what happened in my life, and that was a big step for me to be able to let those things go. So what is stuff really worth? Why do we have such a tight hold on stuff? What is it about it that creates this inability to let it go? Good job. I think what it really comes down to for me is just valuing stuff more than experiences, more than the stuff that really matters, like relationships. As a Christian, I recognize that my time here on earth is short. Even if I live to be over 100 years old, my time on earth is but a vapor. Recognizing that I am here on earth to glorify God. I feel like I'm not really remembering that when I'm trying to hold on to possessions. Because when you think about that, in light of everything in this world and the importance of serving God, in light of my role here on earth and what really matters while I'm here on earth, stuff doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really add that much, and it doesn't need to take a big role up in my life. As I've been able to get rid of more possessions, it's really helped me see things in a different light and recognize that as a person, as an individual, but just probably, as an American, I have way more than I need, and I probably always will have way more than I need. I live very well off, and I'm not saying that money-wise, but just as far as in America, just the amount of possessions that we feel is necessary to live and to survive. It's amazing how much you realize you don't need when you start letting those items go. And so the more that I've let those items go, the less my grip on those items have become. I want you to go into your home and just look into your life and see what about it, what is there in your life that you hold on to too tightly? What possessions do you have that you've kept for so many years and you've held on to just in case, or you've kept just for sentimental reasons, or just clutter that gathers in your home and doesn't really serve a purpose? I want my home to be functional and to serve a purpose. I want the items in my home to serve a purpose for the function of this family. And if it's not, what's the point of holding on to it? The more that you are able to let go of things, the more you'll realize that we just have way more than we need. And I do truly believe that I am happier without more stuff, and I'm sure you'll find that to be the case too. There is so much freedom in being able to let go of stuff. That comes back to the idea that stuff is not what matters in this life. Your hold on stuff does not change the reality that stuff is not that important here on earth. If that's something that is difficult for you, start in little steps and it will get easier. I've been going through my wardrobe for a long time now, and again, a lot of the stuff I held on to because I wasn't the type to go out and buy a lot, so I get a lot of hand-me-downs, and I love getting hand-me-downs, but I would hold on to things just in case, even if I didn't really wear it that often, and I just wanted to not have to spend money on it. But ultimately, that attempt at being frugal really cheapened the type of clothing. The more that my house has been cleared out of stuff, the more peace is in the house, the more of a calm atmosphere, and that is something that you can't ever buy with money, and just makes the household such an amazing place to be. There's more comfort and more peace in the household from getting rid of stuff and from having less than I have holding on to items and knowing that I have a backup just in case. There's more peace to living clutter-free. There's more peace to owning less. There is more freedom. There is more joy. And wanted to share that all with you. I have a video coming up. It's actually the one I had originally scheduled for today, which is an like 11 things to toss video or something like that. And it's just talking about several items in your home that you can get rid of. But I thought I wanted to do this one first, and it's going to correspond really well with that. And I would encourage you, look at your home, look at your life, reevaluate what's truly important, and be able to let go in the areas that you feel that you need to. It doesn't mean you have to go get rid of a bunch of stuff, but don't be afraid to question something that maybe you've held on to for a long time. Really question, what value does it truly have in your life? Is it worth it? Is it worth holding on to? And in light of life as a whole, is it that meaningful for you to hold on to for years and years? All right, guys, well, I think that's all I've got. It was kind of a rambling video. I hope that it was still encouraging and helpful to you. I appreciate you spending some time in your day on this little corner of the internet with me, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the next video.